stop talking about wanting to climb a tree. There has to be something wrong with a full-grown man who decides that, now is the right time to just act like a monkey. And it was just very strange. And then you saw like clips of Michael Jackson afterwards. He was almost in tears, just like
his reaction to
this documentary. He's like,
he was bamboozled.
Yeah, he was like, I finally let someone into my life. I showed him all of my favorite, like all of my toys, I showed him a little bit of Neverland, and now he's made a fool of me. But what I'm getting at is, can't we just, rule number 1, just everyone mind their own business. No. Sorry, I could tell by your eye rolling. Rule number 1, do not molest children.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty big one.
I think that is probably the best one. I'm not saying he did it. I don't know if he did it. But I feel like he didn't know what he was doing. He was just, like, from what we used to know of him, from what he said, is that he just liked to hang out with children because he'd never had a childhood.
Yeah.
And he would have sleepovers, but there was nothing inappropriate about it.
Sure.
And every time someone said that there was something inappropriate, he would just tell them that they were being ignorant.
Yes.
That was his go-to line. You're just being ignorant.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want to believe that Michael. I don't want to believe this Michael that 10 years after his death, now that he can't defend himself, he can't stand up for himself. No, thank you.
I kind of agree with you on that point, that the Michael Jackson is since passed. He can't defend himself. It seems a little weird. Like, all you can do now is like hurt his estate or his legacy or whatever.
And stop playing his music on the radio?
Yeah.
The Beat? The Beat played
a lot of Michael Jackson.
I mean, Beat It? That's part of their, that's almost
basically
their title.
theme song,
That's almost they would play like, I think if the Beat, if like some scandal came out about Ace of Base, the Beat, would be out of business. Because they play Ace of Base at least 5 times a day. And that is a band
5 times a day.
But that's a band that hasn't been around in 30 years.
No, I know, but that's taken all of like 12 to 15 minutes of broadcasting in 24 hours.
Sure. But I don't know. I think people would be listening to it. It's like, I haven't heard Ace of Base yet in the last couple hours. This must not be the Beat. Yeah. And then they change it to a different station. And now without Michael Jackson, like, what are you going to play around Halloween? People want to hear Thriller.
You just get the Ghostbusters theme. And the Monster Mash. Can't go wrong with the Monster Mash.
Yeah, you got a very limited, like, you got to start making more. There's the big shoes to fill.
Okay, how about a cover of Thriller?
See, is that okay?
I don't know.
Does Michael Jackson own a lot of the Beatles songs?
Yes.
Can you play the Beatles anymore?
They may have been recovered by the Beatles on upon his passing.
John Lennon?
Well, not John Lennon, but like
Paul McCartney might own a lot of them now. I think he must. But I think Michael Jackson owns a Happy Birthday song. Are we not allowed to celebrate people's birthdays now because he was a
Happy Birthday to You? I doubt would be owned by Michael Jackson. I know it's still owned by somebody.
Okay, I do see their names, but I think he can. Well, he can't do anything anymore. He's dead. That's the point.
Because he's already got his own Happy Birthday song from The Simpsons. Happy birthday, Lisa. Yeah. Lisa, it's your birthday. That episode will not be aired anymore.
God, it wasn't even Michael Jackson.
It was Michael Jackson.
No, it was a Michael Jackson impersonator.
In the credits, they would not admit that was Michael Jackson, but it was indeed Michael Jackson.
So even to this day, we don't know. Because I remember doing some research on it recently, and it was unclear if it was Michael Jackson or not.
It was Michael Jackson. They're pulling that episode. You can't see that episode anymore. That one time that Bart was nice to his sister, erased from history. Go ahead, Matthew. I feel you seem to have a prepared statement.
I said, not really. No, it was I basically said everything I wanted to say, but what am I trying to say? Let me refer back to my notes while you.
I will say this,
bring up something,
which also may not be a popular opinion. These two gentlemen who the documentary was based around, they were the main subjects of the documentary. Mm-hmm. Both in court years ago defended Michael Jackson and said he did not do these things.
Yeah.
So, should they be tried for perjury now? Because they lied on the stand? Just legally speaking, if someone was acquitted of a crime, you can't bring it back up. I guess if there's new evidence, you could try them again. But in this case, you can't because they've since passed.
Yeah.
But also, I know this is perhaps insensitive and maybe they weren't ready to share their stories at the time of the court hearings. But If you were lying then, or are you lying now? You're a liar at some point.
Yeah.
One of the things is not true. Probably the old one. But you've now established yourself as a untrustworthy source.
Yeah.
Which a good lawyer could probably tear apart down as well.
I feel like even you going into the courtroom and just saying that one thing is like, so you're either lying then or you're lying now. Which is it? Can we? And then you turn to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. We can, and that's when you rip them apart that way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I think Macaulay Culkin needs to come out of hiding. He's not even in hiding.
He's not in hiding. He's got a very popular podcast.
That's true. But
we should get a crossover with Macaulay Culkin.
Yes. Where we can just talk about Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be very comfortable with that.
But then I was thinking even more about it. And it's like, what Michael Jackson isn't even the issue right now. The issue is children.
Child safety.
Children and people who love them. And it's like, it's a very sad place in the world.
Mm.
Are we there is absolutely no sympathy, I think. And I'm not saying there should be, but I'm saying everybody is getting their piece of sympathy cake for their weird little niche in where they fit in society.
I'm not quite understanding your sympathy cake.
No, I'm just saying everybody is like a fraction of, am I even making sense right now, of society, and they're all carving out their little niche, and it's like, I'm special and I deserve to be treated just the same as everybody else.
Sure.
Not the child lovers.
No.
And it's because you put a horrible name to it. First of all, you're calling them molesters.
Yes.
Which is bad.
Also what they are.
It is. But at the root of it, are they people who have an imbalance in their brain who makes them attracted to children?
Yes, quite possibly. But we also lock up murderers, and they have a bad title. Murderers.
Yeah, but they're just people who like to kill. That also sounds pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that these people deserve. But is anyone looking into it? Maybe a way to reverse this kind of imbalance in their brains, or is there going to be this horrific time in our lives where
we'll look back at the time where we didn't properly treat these mental illnesses?
Yeah, but there's no
we were horrible back then.
Yeah,
all these murderers, serial killers, child molesters, even the kleptomaniacs.
Yeah, it's 2036. You can't say molesters. You can't say klepto, and you can't say murderer. It's not right anymore. But one thing about this there's this R. Kelly stuff going on too. I feel like there needs to be a better distinction between because if you I think R. Kelly is being labeled as a child molester.
Mm-hmm.
But is it?
Well, this one is before the courts.
Yes. 16-year-old girl, even a 17-year-old girl.
Sure.
Or boy, doesn't matter. 17-year-old person. It's very weird that you get labeled a child molester or a child this is going
on a bad path.
I'm saying don't molest anybody. But
first and foremost,
let's make sure that is what gets taken away from this. But if you're molesting a 2-year-old person versus a 17-year-old person,
mm-hmm.
there's no distinction in the court for that, right? You are just called a child molester.
Yeah.
But that seems very different because one, you are attracted to a person who looks pretty much like an adult.
Sure.
And another one, you are attracted to an infant. And I think an infant, that is when you need to go in for some psychiatric help. And you need the other parts, you don't know. People who are 16, 17, they try to dress like they're older.
Sure.
You would, catch yourself looking at this person and being like, oh man, no, I am apologize for even looking your way. But you're not attracted to the same things. You're not someone who's looking at a 16-year-old is not attracted to a 2-year-old.
Okay.
just by virtue of being attracted to
Well,
the
I'm
16-year-old.
not sure what your point is here.
I'm just saying, like, find another name for like R. Kelly and his. I'm still saying what he's doing, if convicted, is wrong, but don't lump it all in with like someone who loves babies inappropriately. That just seems so different. Like the difference in age between a baby and someone who is old enough to drive is very different.
Yeah.
You're not attracted to the same physical shape of that person.
Sure.
Even the mentality.
I mean, you shouldn't be molesting anyone. I
You
want to be
shouldn't.
very clear.
Yeah, so if you can take anything away from this,
But
there's
and
got to
I
be a better
kind of
word
see
for...
your point. But also, don't do any of it. And that's why it's got the same title for all of it, because it's all bad.
Wait,
so just don't do it.
What is statutory rape?
I believe that is consensual sex when someone is too young to consent.
Okay. But within... Okay. All right. Yeah, I feel like we've tapped this well. But to get to the point...
Yeah.
You ever see the movie Children of Men?
Yeah.
I feel like that is the perfect
Clive
world.
Owen, is it?
Yeah, there's also that redheaded woman.
Yeah.
What's her name?
And I see her face in my mind, but I can't.
She's not Jodie Foster. She's the woman who lost her memory in
in
another
that
movie.
other movie.
Still Alice, that horror movie.
Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore. Okay, so anyway, it's a dystopian future where no children have been born for the last, let's say, 20, 30 years. And it looks like humanity is on its way out. I don't believe that movie for a second, because it feels like children
it's
are
a movie.
Yeah, but I feel like children seem to be the root of all the problems, because if you are... First of all, if you are someone who is attracted to young children, there's no place for you in this world. And if you aren't somebody, you stand the risk of being accused that you are someone who is attracted to children. That's always the way that your life can fall apart, because it's once that accusation is made, sometimes just by a child, to get back at somebody, that ruins your whole life. And I feel like this future, where there are no children, everybody can just be who they want to be. Everyone can just relax. They can all like let their hair down and just be like, you know what?
But you need children for society to continue.
Yeah, but society continuing at this rate, it's not worth it. Everyone's too afraid to breathe. Everyone's too afraid to say anything.
But if there are no new children 15 years from now,
I understand.
we won't have a Bieber.
I understand we'd all be dead and it's over, but maybe it should be. Or maybe we really hone in on some cloning techniques and really start cloning people, but don't clone children, because you're just going to have more trouble.
Just photocopied adults.
People are going to be attracted to little clones now, especially of their own selves. That's super weird.
Good, man.
Just clone people who are over 25. Make it real safe. But in this movie, Children of Men, I think it wasn't great, but it was going okay until there was a child born. And as soon as there was a child born, everyone started murdering each other.
It wasn't going that great, because everything was so gray in that movie.
I guess.
It didn't look like things were going great.
Yeah, but there's just filters on the cameras. I mean, a lot of explosions, long takes. I don't know. It just feels like that. There's a lot of pressure off when there's no more kids.
We don't have to watch our language as much anymore.
Yes. That's like, that's up there. And also not being accused of being a child molester is up there. You
can't molest a child if there are no children.
Micheal Jackson would still be playing on the radio right now
if there were no children.
It was in a world like Children of Men.
If there had never been children, Micheal Jackson would not be born.
There'd be no implication.
May have not. Oh, how about this, Matthew? If there are no children, would we not have more Micheal Jacksons? Because none of them would have had a proper childhood.
I don't know exactly the stew or that creates the perfect Micheal Jackson, the process of that. But yeah, you're probably going to get a couple if you have a horrible childhood.
Oh boy.
Well, I guess you wouldn't have a childhood, right? No, it takes a childhood. It takes a childhood and an abusive father and a a bunch of brothers and sisters to compete against.
Mm-hmm.